There's been a lot of news surrounding Pat McAfee and what the next move might be for the multi-platform sensation. New York Post sports media columnist Andrew Marchand is always on top of the latest surrounding sports media, and he joins me now to break it all down. Andrew, you're always the busiest man in sports media news. How's it going?
I'm doing well.
Glad you are well. Now, Andrew, back in March, you reported that McAfee could walk away in the middle of his 4-year, $120 million endorsement deal with FanDuel. You've now reported that ESPN has emerged to be the leading candidate for his daily show. How likely is it that McAfee bounces from FanDuel?
I think it's very likely, and he ends up on ESPN. I think you look at what McAfee wants. He's talked about the idea that when you have your own show, you have to do all the back office stuff, things you don't see, besides perform. He wanted to find someone who he could partner with and he could let them handle that stuff. And so I think he will do that. I think his daily show will remain 3 hours. I think probably part of it will stay, if not the majority, still on YouTube. But I think you'll see a linear component with it being on ESPN TV as well. And I think they'll try to utilize him and his partners on the show in a variety of ways as well with ESPN. I think I'd be surprised if it didn't happen, but nothing's official as of yet.
All right. On the ESPN side, this news comes at a time when their parent company Disney is shedding 7,000 jobs. If McAfee does a deal with the worldwide leader, is it a good look for ESPN right now?
So they'd argue that those two things are different. When you look at the McAfee situation, if a deal goes through, it's because it makes sense financially, and they wouldn't do it if it didn't make sense financially. At least how they pencil it out. Jimmy Pitaro, the chairman of ESPN, he believes in the best available athletes. It's hard to argue that McAfee is not somebody that that you wouldn't want to do business with in terms of his popularity as a younger guy with a younger audience. And so that's that. That said, they are in the midst of laying off 7,000 Disney employees, and Pat McAfee had a deal that was for more than $30 million per year from FanDuel. And so the idea that he's going to make 8 figures per year. Right. And when you're laying off all those people, that's not great optics. That doesn't look good. Even if you can argue one has nothing to do with the other, it's still for morale, for people there and people, of course, who are let go. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, tough pill to swallow for the people there. The people stuff matters in these decisions. Now, McAfee has stated in the past that his daily show will not be behind a paywall. And you kind of hit on this before, Andrew, about how things may look for him. So if a deal goes down with ESPN, how do you see the network utilizing McAfee, and do you see this as a good fit in terms of McAfee for ESPN?
Yeah, I would say that I would expect a lot of it to still be on YouTube. Again, we don't know exactly how it's going to work out, but I do think, but I do think part of it will be on linear TV on ESPN. I'd be surprised if it's not. You look at their programming in the morning; they have Get Up, then they have First Take that goes till noon. And then McAfee's show starts at noon. So you could do that first hour using McAfee's show. You also could do the final hour from 2 to 3. Currently that's where Max Kellerman's show, This Just In, is on. And so that's another way they could go about it. When I think about it, that first hour kind of seems to make a little more sense to me, just, because of the momentum that you have off of First Take, and instead of SportsCenter for 2 hours and then you go to McAfee, but you could go either way. So I could see, I would think the first or third hour probably ends up on linear TV, which means ESPN, television, and not just that. And so, could they also run this always on ESPN Plus as well? Yes. But I do think there will be a component that's free. I'd be surprised if there wasn't, just considering what McAfee has said in the past.
All right, we'll see how it all plays out, where McAfee ends up. This will all be interesting. You know who's going to be on top of it. Andrew Marchand, sports media news, not sports and entertainment. That is another person. That's Jenna Limoncelli, our colleague. Totally different there. That is Andrew. He's always on top of it, sports media guru, breaking all the news there. Andrew, it's always good to talk to you, and we will talk again soon.